Well, there are no shortages of worthy causes around the Low Country where good people are finding ways to help those in need. One great example of that spirit of charity is Low Country Legal Aid. They help folks all around the area, and here to tell us about their mission and some events that they're hosting is the Executive Director, Ryan Mikkelson. Good to see you, Ryan. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having us. We appreciate it.
First, tell us about the mission of Low Country Legal Aid.
All right. Low Country Legal Aid provides free legal services to income-qualified individuals, which meaning 200% of the poverty level or below. And we provide free legal services in the areas of family law, a little bit of landlord-tenant law, some employment law, various types of civil matters. We don't do any personal injury matters because fees can be generated for local attorneys, and we also don't do any criminal law. But many types of civil law, mainly in the domestic relations area, is what we do. We primarily do this work through volunteer attorneys. A lot of what we do should be called volunteers at law, because that's really what we do.
Like volunteers in medicine.
Right, volunteers in medicine, but volunteers at law. We have about 9 volunteer attorneys who come in and help our executive attorney, who also happens to be my wife, handle a large active caseload of 100 cases right now. So it's a huge caseload for a small staff and a limited budget. So we do as much as we can with a little. We provide services in Beaufort, Jasper, and Hampton counties. Obviously, our office is located in Bluffton, so we primarily do work in Beaufort County. That's where the majority of our clients come from, and the majority of people we help are located. But we also do outreach to Jasper and Hampton because of the need out there.
How do people find you?
People find us through word of mouth and through the courts. A lot of times we get calls from other attorneys asking us to take cases when they have people come to them that can't afford their services. We get tons of calls from being referred by the Beaufort County Family Court, Jasper County Family Court, Hampton County Family Court. All those courts refer people to us for assistance. It's very hard to navigate through the legal system, especially when you have a complicated custody matter or family law dispute. When anything's kind of in litigation, it's a difficult thing to navigate through. When there's children involved, it just becomes a lot more complicated, and that's really where our focus is when there's children involved. That's where we try to step in and look out for the best interests of the children and try to get those children in a better position, both helping the community and helping that family.
Good. Now, you're an attorney yourself, and your wife is as well, so the two of you pretty much run this thing? Or how
we've kind of taken it under our wing over the last year and a half. Some circumstances led to the executive attorney and director leaving a year and a half ago, and I was actually just volunteering there and offered to take over the mission and try to become the executive director on a limited basis. I was at first saying 3 months, and now I'm saying 2 years, and we'll see how long it goes. But I've roped my wife into coming as the executive attorney. It's one of those missions, just like anything else out there where you're helping people. We have 350 people come for intakes every year, and we only can get to about 130 of those cases. So the need for us is great, and my wife does a phenomenal job of really balancing and getting through as many cases as possible in a year with the help of with the volunteer attorneys. Those volunteer attorneys come in and give their time, on a daily basis.
So the client comes in, and then you meet with you or your wife, and then you kind of decide how their case hand it out to one of the other volunteers?
Yeah, they actually come in and meet with a volunteer, and then my wife will review the intake that's written by the volunteer and determine whether
intake, that's a form. You're speaking legalese here. Okay, so this is a form that's filled out when basing the information about the case.
Yes,
right?
all the information about the case, all the documents that go along with the case. It's a complicated process, and it's hard to explain in a limited time frame. But they come in, give their information, give all the legal documents that they have. Maybe they've been served a complaint. Maybe they have a answer due. All these different things that have to be taken into consideration when we decide whether we can take the case or not. Obviously, we have limited funds and limited space, so we can only take a certain number of those cases that come in. And right now, we have 100 active cases. Last year, we were able to take on 130 more. So that's meaning we're getting out some of them, throughout the year. But so, we have a lot of demand for our services and limited funds available and limited people.
Well, speaking of funds, you're going to try to address that at Applebee's,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Those good folks at Applebee's, they help so many groups.
Yes. In December 11th, we'll be doing a pancake breakfast there. You can call Low Country Legal Aid's office at 815-1570 if you want tickets or want any information on that. We also need some volunteers to help us serve the pancakes in the morning. I think we need 15, and we probably have 5 to 10 right now. So if you want to volunteer, if you want to buy a ticket, tickets are $5 for that event.
But you can buy them at the door as well, right?
Yes, I believe you can buy them at the door, but you can get them up front if you want through us. We'll
or
provide them.
pay the $5 and not eat the pancakes. That's good too.
Yeah,
you'll take the $5 either way.
That's right.
But there they are. Yeah, that's a great event. They help youth groups and bands, all kinds of things. So that's a great way to come in. But the way Applebee's does that is they provide the food, but you have to provide most of the labor in the serving and cleaning up and things. So.
Right.
I mean, they have their own cooks, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I think they do their own cooking. But
I'll tell them that, so no one's eating my pancakes. That's
very good. Well, what else do you have going on?
In January 22nd, the South Carolina Bar is going to be having their convention down on Hilton Head this year.
Wow.
So all the attorneys from South Carolina will be here for a convention. The Saturday evening of that convention, we will be doing our Celebration of Justice, which is our annual gala, which we honor 3 individuals, one attorney who advances social justice, one non-attorney who advances social justice in the community. That person is David Ames this year.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so a lot of people in this community know David Ames, and we'll be honoring him as the non-attorney who advances social justice. And then we also do a Volunteer of the Year within our organization, and that will be Barbara Swift, which is another name a lot of people know. She's been on our board for 9 years, and we'll be honoring her.
She's with League of Women Voters. We know her from the debates,
yes,
so that's good.
Yes,
Terrific.
she's done. And then the attorney this year will be Sue Berkowitz, who's out of Columbia, and she runs South Carolina Appleseed for Justice, which is a large organization in Columbia that advances social justice as well as anybody. So we're going to be honoring her while she's down here at the convention. So hopefully that turns out a lot of people, and we can make some money and have a good time at the same time.
Terrific. So that's in January.
January 22nd. Yeah, it's going to be at the Belfair Country Club.
Well, terrific. So what happens to somebody who wants your services but doesn't make the cut somehow? Are they kind of like in legal limbo, or what do they do?
It's hard, but you know, what we can do a lot of times is get them to an attorney in the area who may work with them. There's a lot of great attorneys out here that want to give back and want to help people as much as they can. You know, obviously they're running an office and have overhead, so they can't do it for free. You know, they can't go out and get grants like we do. They can't get the local support we do. But they are able to cut their rates sometimes and help people. Now, you know, what level they can do that depends on where the person is as far as financially goes, but sometimes there's attorneys in the area that work with them, so we try to get them in the hands of somebody that can help them somehow. Well,
terrific. So you have any stories about some people you've helped? You don't have to use exact names, but
right.
Some stories.
I guess our favorite right now is we had a young couple that were in their young 20s that had just had a child who came in looking for help, just had no answers. His siblings were 12, 13, and 15. One of the siblings was living with them prior to him going to Washington State to get his other 2 siblings. His mother was addicted to crystal meth, and he had to go get his his brother and sister, his siblings, out of that situation. So he drove across country to get his siblings, found the 12 and 13-year-old, one living on the street and one that hadn't gone to school for 2 years. Brings them back here, had just a horrible time trying to get them into school because he did not have the proper guardianship papers or adoption papers. So what we did was work with him to, like I just said, we got him to an attorney in the area who specializes in just adoptions. And this attorney took it free of charge because it came through us, and he works with us a lot of times on these. And within a week, we were able to get the proper documentation for them to get these children in school. That was a year ago. You know, they had been out of school for a year or 2 years in the certain situation, and they were able to get in school. They're now in Jasper County schools and doing fantastic.
Getting caught up.
Yeah,
wonderful.
They're getting caught up. So that's one of our favorite stories.
Well, it's a great one. I'm sure you have tons more like that.
We do.
Well, thank you for sharing us with the Low Country Legal Aid Mission, and you can help them out by going to Applebee's for the Pancake Breakfast on Saturday, December 11th. You can go to their website and find information or call for reservations, or you can just show up at Applebee's and donate $5 to help. And if you'd like to to help clean up plates, I'm sure they could use a pair of hands too. Ryan Mikkelson, thanks for sharing your mission with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
That wraps up this edition of Talk of the Town. We'll see you again tomorrow night for more conversations with Islanders.